The third Democracy Summit will be held in Seoul for 3 days starting on Monday, continuing the initiative to protect societies from various threats to human rights, freedom, and other democratic principles. The initiative began in 2021 by President Joe Biden, and it is the first time to be hosted independently by another country. Soo-young has the details.
President Yoon Suk Yeol called for joint efforts to defend and advance democratic freedoms for future generations amid fast-evolving digital changes that threaten freedom, human rights and prosperity. This came at the opening ceremony of the Third Summit for Democracy, which kicked off in Seoul on Monday, gathering world leaders, civil society and the private sector under the theme of Democracy for the Future Generation.
개인의 자유와 창의를 북돋우는 활기찬 민주주의는 청년들의 역량과 기회를 확장하는 촉진제가 될 것이며 이를 통해 우리의 미래 세대는 민주주의에 대해 더욱 확고한 믿음을 갖게 될 것입니다.
Citing fake news and disinformation as major threats to democracy, Yoon said artificial intelligence and new digital tools pose a double-edged sword to societies and individuals. He also warned against a growing digital divide between nations that would widen economic gaps and, in turn, increase the democracy divide. He called for efforts to ensure digital progress goes hand in hand with democracy. This year's summit begins with a ministerial-level meeting co-hosted by the United Kingdom and Ecuador, followed by an expert roundtable on democratic processes to address cyber threats and foster digital innovation in a way that respects human rights and freedom in online spaces. On the second day, members of civil society will hold discussions and workshops on related themes. The plenary session of world leaders will be held virtually on Wednesday evening Seoul time, with President Yoon Suk Yeol chairing the session on technology, elections and fake news. Kenyan President William Ruto will lead the session on the Global South, and Danish leader Mette Frederiksen on inclusive society and youth empowerment. The Summit for Democracy was launched in 2021 under the leadership of US President Joe Biden amid the worrying rise of autocratic leaders and authoritarian governance around the world. Deeming South Korea a champion of democracy, US Secretary of State Antony Blinken on Monday remarked on the significance of the country hosting the summit independently for the first time outside the United States. Blinken and South Korean Foreign Minister Cho Tae-ho called for collective efforts by governments and society to strengthen confidence in democracy around the world, with the two officials scheduled to have a luncheon meeting, likely to focus on North Korea's missile provocation earlier in the day, alongside topics including democratic cooperation, strengthening the ROK-US alliance, as well as regional and global issues. Soo-young, Arirang News.